Bible says that love covers over a multitude of sins. And basically, what that means is that when you love someone, the things that they do don't irritate you as much as if the same things are done by someone that you don't like. Um, it's and sometimes we think about people's behavior and we think about the things they do and we think, oh, I just don't like that person. They do these things that irritate me and frustrate me. But I would suggest to you that how we feel in our hearts about a person makes more difference than what the things are that people are actually doing. For example, let's say that you go to someone's house for lunch that you really like and they're your friend and you really enjoy being with them and you get there for lunch and they welcome you into the house and they visit a little bit and then they're going to serve lunch, so your hostess tells you where to sit at the table and you sit there, and just as she's serving lunch she comes to the table, and just as she gets to the table she trips and she spills a bowl of hot tomato soup in your lap. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to think about how bad you would feel if you had done that to her, and so you minimize it, you downplay it, and you say, "Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It didn't burn that much. It's not that hot, and it was okay. No, I'm not hurt at all." And then you're cleaning up, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I ruined your clothing." And you're like, "Oh, I didn't like these clothes anyway. Now I can buy some new ones. You're helping me out." And you just, you excuse it all. It's no problem. You don't sit there and say, "She hates me. I bet she did that on purpose. I bet she planned this morning before I came. She probably practiced. She took the bowl of soup. Yes, if I trip, I'll have him sit here. Then if I trip right about here, that should hit him right." No, those thoughts don't go through your mind at all. Why? Because you like the person. You don't wind up saying, "I can't have friends like this. I'm never coming to this person's house again." No, not at all. You just excuse it. In contrast to that, if you go to someone's house for lunch that you don't really like that much, just the way they hold their fork can drive you crazy, right? Now, the difference between those two things, the magnitude of between those two things, your friend that you like can spill a bowl of hot soup on you, and it's fine, no problem. No, that was good. I'm good with that. Someone you don't like, just the way they hold their fork can drive you crazy. You see, the problem isn't what the person's doing. The problem is how you feel about the person in your heart. And so when we get into challenges and difficulties, I just suggest that we stop and think about, how do I feel about the person in my heart? And we see if we can change the way we feel about that person in our heart. And that may do more than trying to get the person to hold their fork different or change the things that they're doing. This is for me. One time I was traveling and I was uh, at a church for a weekend having meetings and was staying with a friend of mine and so the last evening of the meeting, Sunday evening, I was at their house for supper. And I had been other places for meals, and finally I was going to be at their house. Oh, we're going to have a good time together. So we got to the table, and the hostess said, "Oh, Merle, I don't know if you can eat this soup. Like, I was making the soup, and just as I was making the soup, the salt shaker fell off the shelf above the stove, came down, it hit the side of the kettle, the lid came off, and all the salt went pouring into the soup." She said, "I tried to spoon it out, but I'm afraid it's too salty." And I said, "Oh, I've eaten lots of things in life. Don't worry about it. That's going to be fine. I'm not worried about that. Yeah, well, I can eat salty soup. I'm just glad to be at your house and we'll have a great time together." So we ate the soup and it was okay. It was salty. And then she had a Jello salad and she said, "I feel bad about this Jello salad. Like when you take it out of the pan, it's supposed to stand up in little squares, and and when I got the Jello out of the pan and put it on the little plates, um, instead of standing up, it just kind of spread out." And I was saying, "Hey, I'm a man. I don't know if food's supposed to stand up or lay down. I don't care what it does. I don't care if it stands up or not. I just eat it if it tastes good. I don't care what it looks like on the plate. So we had the Jello salad. And then my hostess said, "Okay, we're gonna salvage this meal. Nothing turned out right, and we have pie, and we're gonna have ice cream with the pie, and that'll make everything be okay." So she served the pie, and she got ice cream out of the freezer, and then the ice cream was pretty hard, and so she said to her husband, "Dish some ice cream for Merle." So he got the scoop, and he's there pushing and pushing on the ice cream, trying to scoop ice cream, and it was frozen so hard, he's just pushing harder and harder, and all of a sudden, a chunk of ice cream broke loose, came over, hit me in the chest, and fell on my lap. It was perfect, and I didn't mind that meal at all. I enjoyed it. It was wonderful. I still remember it because of those things that happened. If none of those things had happened, I probably wouldn't even remember the meal. But I enjoyed it. It was perfect. It was good. There was nothing wrong with it. And why? Because that couple was a friend of mine, and I always enjoy being at their house. And the food is insignificant because I like them as a couple and I enjoy being with them. So now I know that there are serious things that happen that we need to set boundaries sometimes and we need to create distance for ourselves from some people. And I'm not talking about those things. I'm just talking about the everyday routine things in life that irritate us and bother us. If we can work on the attitude of our heart, that may make more difference than trying to change other people's behavior.